Ninth-ranked Utah gets its first real test of the college basketball season tonight as they are hosted by Utah State here at the Spectrum in Logan. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Brown, and welcome to Ute basketball here on KJazz TV. The Aggies with a new head coach, Stu Morrill, but no stranger to the Ute program, having coached for many years at Colorado State. For more on the importance of tonight's game, let's bring in my broadcast partner, Frank Layden. Frank, welcome back, and it's great to start the season with you.
Well, you know, I don't think there's any place in the state that has a better basketball atmosphere than up here at Utah State. And I'm also very anxious to not only get started in basketball season, but to see how good the Utes are going to be. They're being held in very lofty terms right now. We'll see if they can live up to it.
Rick Majerus has called this a rebuilding year. If that's the case, he's got a great platform to build from in the return of the big three, Alex Jensen, Hanno Metala, and Andre Miller, and Frank each brings something different to the party.
Well, of course, Jensen added so much to the team last year, but people are going to be shocked at how improved he is now. Metala, he's destined to be a great professional, as is Andre Miller. Everybody's All-American.
You think Jensen, though, is the key to this team?
Without a doubt. You know, I think that when we look at the Ute teams through the years, it's always that other player. You know, we always knew who the great players were, but always somebody else had to step up. Last year, I thought it was Miller. This year, I think it's Jensen.
Well, locally here at Utah State, they're all abuzz about a guy who grew up just down the road a few miles in Hiram. The high school player of the year last year, Tony Brown, true freshman, great guard, and this guy has got a great shooter's touch.
He has a great touch to be a shooter, but he also wants the basketball. He has a scorer's mentality, and that's very important. He's going to set a lot of records here before he steps into a pro uniform.
All right, let's talk about the Smith's keys to the game. You mentioned it is early, and anything can happen early. This Ute team has to mesh, and it's no easy task.
No, it's no easy task, but it certainly helps when you have Andre Miller at the point guard.
Second key for the University of Utah, protect the ball. It's a quick Aggie team.
Yeah, I think that they're a quick team, but I think the Utes are known that Rick Majerus is not going to let them throw the ball away very much.
And thirdly, we all know from experience the Spectrum is no easy place to play for.
I believe it's the toughest place in Utah, and so it's going to be a good test for Utah. And I think it's good that it's an early game for them because they're going to face bigger and louder crowds than this as the year goes on.
In-state basketball, there's nothing like it in a Beehive State. Ute basketball coming at you next. University of Utah Sports Broadcast is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to go places. By Smith's Food and Drug Centers, a fresh approach to saving money. By AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. By AT&T Wireless Services, it's all within your reach. By Phillips 66, super clean unleaded gasoline. And by Regents Blue Cross Blue Shield of Utah, offering more strength, more choices, more control for you. Welcome back to the Spectrum in Logan, Utah. You see the series history. The Utes lead it by 40 wins and 5 straight for Utah. But this is a tough place to play for a visiting team. In fact, Stu Morrill, the new head coach, you see his 7 seasons at Colorado State. He's 5-10 against Majerus. But Frank, he was the last guy to win in this building as a visitor. And that was 26 games, 27 if you count the exhibition last week ago. So Morrill knows he can win in this building. Now he's going to get a chance to win as the home coach. The starting lineups for the Aggies brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Troy Roll, the forward, he's only 6'2". He's got a 48-inch vertical. This guy plays big. We've already talked to you about Tony Brown, the freshman from up the road at Mountain Crest High School in Hiram. He can shoot the ball. In fact, this is a good shooting Aggie team. They will need to be tonight against the Utes. Meanwhile, for the University of Utah, Rick Majerus, 73.6% winning percentage, 7th among active coaches, coming off that final game appearance in the NCAAs and a heartbreaking loss to Kentucky. Last year was supposed to be a rebuilding year. If that's rebuilding, he'd like another one. Let's take a look at the Ute starting lineup. 3 of the names will be familiar in Metala, Jensen, and Andre Miller. Phil Cullen, he's a guy that a lot is expected of. He's 6'9". He's a freshman out of Washington. They're comparing him to a young Van Horn. That's some big shoes to fill. And Jeremy Killian is the other new addition out of San Diego, California. The JC transfer at 6 foot. He's a shooter as well. Look for the ball to be in the air tonight. This crowd will definitely be into it. It's a sellout of 10,270. And they know they haven't lost since Stu Morrill brought Colorado State in here.
in his 26 games, the second longest in the NCAA. Kansas at 61 is way out in front of the pack. But Frank, you can expect it to rock and roll tonight.
Let me editorialize a little bit. Maybe I'm crazy. You can correct me, Steve. I know this is your alma mater. But I would think that basketball tradition is greater here than it is at Colorado State. And for that reason, I think, you know, and I know certainly Stu Morrow's a very accomplished coach, but he's got big shoes to fill.
I'm the expert on crazy. You got that right. This tip-off brought to you by AT&T Wireless Services. It's all within your reach with AT&T. So the Aggies and the Utes set to go. Donnie Johnson will jump against Otto Metala for Utah. And this crowd is into it. Controlled to Andre Miller. And you will hear plenty through the ambient microphones here tonight. We are directly courtside, and this crowd is right on top of us. Metala's turnaround is cleared by Alec, and the Aggies will run. Alec coast-to-coast north. And it's ragged, and we've got a walk called underneath. The first turnover on Utah, Phil Cullen.
Yeah, I think that one of the things you'll see is a Rick Majerus team, a young team, a team that's being put together with 7 new players, are going to emphasize defense. He's going to have them basically very sound on the defensive end.
That's the man with the jump, and he's got the basket. The first one, Troy Roll.
Nice hesitation move going into the middle. Got control of himself, and he got the defensive man to straighten up before he put that shot down. That was a lot of poise on that shot.
He plays big. Aggies in the zone.
Zones last year, early in the season, gave the Utes some problems.
Jensen's shot can't find the mark, and the Aggies with a lead in the basketball.
Zones and presses. Early in the year, later on in the year, I thought they handled him very well.
Roll well beyond the arc, and it won't go. Cullen clears.
He rushed that shot a little bit. Refs look like they're letting him play a little bit because Miller took a pretty good bang there.
Cullen looks inside. Low block, Metala. Shot is blocked. And out of bounds off Davis to the Aggies.
Yeah, it looks like defensively the Aggies on the misses are coming back and playing man-to-man. And on the one make, they came back and played zone. So we're going to see switching defenses, and of course Stu Morrow is known for doing that.
Tyrone Alec brings it up against Andre Miller, just underway from Logan. 2-0 Aggie lead here in the Spectrum. Down low, Davis turnaround, hook won't go. Big mismatch in height there. Davis at 6'5", and Johnson, Metala at 6'9", 6'10". Offensive foul on Utah. Second turnover.
Andre a little anxious there, a little bit out of control when he turned his back. He definitely did. You'll see him, he'll turn his back. He's no longer in control. Pretty good call by the referee. In fact, a very good call by the referee. Now the defense is extended a little bit. Andre comes out.
They'll pick up Tyrone Alec.
Picks up Alec easy. Not a lot of pressure on him, but enough. Both teams are allowing the ball to get inside without too much problems.
Both teams not finding the mark very readily. Early season and early game nerves.
Well, you're right there, Steve. That's what happens early in the year. But both teams are allowing the ball to get into the post rather easily also. Alex Jensen very much in control. That's what I like about his game.
That's Jeremy Killian, the 6-footer out of San Diego. And now Andre Miller. Baseline, you give him that, he'll kill you.
Yeah.
Basket's good, and he's going to go to the line.
And that is great basketball. He saw the opening, and, you know, he was able to finish. He put it up on the glass. Watch him go here. He fakes to the outside. Gets the defensive man to stand up and then takes it down to the left. You don't see any design. All of a sudden, he's looking around. Looks like he's going to pass the ball, feed it inside. Suddenly, it's on the ground, and he's up to the hoop.
What was impressive to me, Frank, is, too, he didn't use the crossover. He just kept the ball in his left hand, went right to the dribble.
Yeah, he used his body and went up very soft at the end of it.
So many times a right-hander will have to use the crossover to begin that first step. He went right off the left foot.
Exactly.
Converting the three-point play, the Utes have the single-digit lead.
And you see Andre Miller in there helping out on defense. Probably the thing that the Utes do as good as any team in the country is help defense.
Jensen with a block. Killian on the lead. And Alec will challenge. And Jensen can't find the mark on the putback. And you talked about letting them play, Frank. They're letting them play.
Yes, they are letting them play.
Farrell Davis winds up. on the other side of Al Lewis, the Aggie radio play-by-play man. Right over the top. Here's the block.
That was a great block. I'll tell you. That was Tyrone Alec who got up there to block that shot. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I don't know how good Raleigh is as a jumper, but he was way up there for that one. Great timing. Great recovery.
Killian will set the offense outside.
See, I like Jensen. He just runs his stuff, not anxious.
Andre's shot, no, won't crawl over the rim. But there's Cullen with the putback.
You got to be impressed with that. An offensive rebound that leads to a basket.
Young man out of Washington with his first hoop. Cullen averaging 10 points and 6 boards. That's Tony Brown, the other freshman.
Good help defense. Good support defense then.
Frenetic pace early. Cullen, left-handed finish. And Stu Morrill wants a 20-second timeout.
It's a good timeout because the defense is taking the ball away and giving the Utes extra chances to score, and they're converting. And they've missed a couple of layups, too. This game could be actually another 4 or 6 points ahead for the Utes at this time.
20-second timeout brought to you by Mount Olympus Spring Water, pure and natural. Utah's choice since 1898. Here's a look at it again, the last basket. Great eyes as Miller keeps his head up, and Cullen with the soft touch finish.
Well, you know what, they're alert. After they made the steal, everybody took off. They got in their lanes. They moved the ball up front. They didn't waste it with a dribble, and they got an easy basket out of it.
Cullen with 4 points, Miller with 3. Utah, though, 3 turnovers, just 1 for the Aggies.
But both teams have missed a couple of crippling shots, though. A couple of easy shots. And that's a great timeout by Stu Morrill, because he wants to stop the bleeding right now.
Can't afford to lose contact early going. Cullen comes around and fronts his man.
And you don't want to lose the crowd either. You want to have the Utes take them out of the game.
Farrell Davis, rebound.
Good shot, just didn't go in. They'll go down.
Aggies shooting just 17% from the floor. The Utes, well, there's Miller inside. Utah was shooting 37% before that basket.
Good hesitation, good move by Miller. Miller can still go to his left. He always was good at that last year.
Shot clock has not been a factor so far here in the first half.
No, both teams are playing.
Played 4 minutes. It's a 9-2 Utah lead.
See, they're getting the ball right there, Steve, and you're getting pretty good shots, and they finally get one to go down. I mean, you get the ball in there against most teams, you're getting a good percentage shot, or you're going to get fouled.
Farrell Davis with the basket. He's averaging 13. Had 12 boards the other night, too. Plays big at 6'5". Aggies undersized, but they play big.
Pretty good overall size, though. Pretty athletic.
Sharp is into the lineup. Adam Sharp for Utah. Replacing Killian at the guard line. There's Miller, the pull-up. There's the rebound to Farrell Davis. Utes getting just 1 shot.
Yeah, Utah State is not really running out of getting the defensive rebounds or any steals. They look like they're satisfied and trying to control the tempo a little bit.
And the Aggies were one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the nation last year. Basket, I'm not sure it'll count. It does count. Well, that was an NBA continuation. I thought the whistle was real early in the play. Yeah. Nevertheless, score the basket.
Well, it was a great move. Great reversal. As Johnson reversing to his right, going up hard. And you're right, late slap, but it was there, Steve.
Johnson, nice move going between players, and now goes nice to the line.
Nice move in that he got through them and then kept under control.
At 6'6", he's definitely outsized in there, but right now size isn't meaning much. The Utes have the lead at 9-7. Andre Miller with the heads-up play, and we'll be back. Utes jumped out to an early lead. The Aggies went through a 4-minute drought before the last basket, but a 3-point play has narrowed the margin to 2. Where are the Aggies? The Big West coaches poll came out a week or so ago. In the Eastern Division, the Aggies picked to finish 3rd behind Idaho and Boise State. Right now, they're making a great showing for themselves. This University of Utah basketball game brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. If they're so low, you have the freedom to go places and do things you never thought possible. Fly Southwest Airlines.
And of course, right, as we know about a little zone press going into effect here at half court by the Aggies, but notice that Rick Majerus has gone to his bench.
Neither team shooting very well right now either, Frank. We talked about it earlier. The Aggies at 33%, Utah just 40.
Getting good shots, but not putting it in.
Just not going in.
Yep. It's an interesting goal.
Whoa, way outside. That shot won't go down for Kim.
Yeah, it better go down. Rick Majerus won't be in the ground very well. That's for sure. He doesn't mind you taking long shots as long as they go in. There's some of that offensive rebound we were talking
just
about.
Just maybe an ill-advised putback. A lot of traffic in there.
Yeah, well, you know, I always thought that if you got an offensive rebound, you deserve the shot.
Nate Althoff is now into the Utah lineup for the first time. Of course, Althoff, who had the surgery on the little finger, the pinky finger of his shooting hand. You can see it's taped, but the other night he came out and played with a vengeance, 10 points and 7 rebounds.
And Sharp is in there also.
Pleasant surprise for Majerus. Althoff's performance. Mental. I'll tell you, he had a lane. You don't need much with him.
No. Once he gets a lane to the basket and you're not going up with him, you better foul him because he's going to take it right to the hoop. He jumps so effortlessly. He's deceptive. He's in the mold of most of those European players. He kind of glides. He's got the great outside touch. Ball thrown away there by the Aggies. Pretty good defense, forcing the pass to go to the sideline, to the baseline side, and it got away from him. Rashad Elliott checks in. Here's you look at Hano Mentala again. Yeah, see how hard he goes. He takes a little fake, goes in. See how easily he goes up to dunk it, you know. And Dimitri Yorson has 6'11", sophomore center from Belgium, has checked in for Utah State. So both coaches not shy about making substitutions. We know Rick Majerus has got the revolving bench. Yes. And Stu Morrill also will go 9 and 10. Yeah, and Rick will want to get a lot of his young players experience. I mean, this is why you play these games partly and you're ready for the conference. Althoff for the offensive foul down low on the block. And another turnover for Utah. 13 foul against the Utes. Althoff's first. This is Rashad Elliott, junior out of Montgomery, Alabama, brings it up. He's just 5'8". And if he's 5'8", I'm 6'3". Inside. Line of tall timber. Yorson is blocked. Yeah, it was a beautiful pass. A little give and go there. But they got up and made a beautiful, Althoff made a beautiful block. Sharp outside. Sharp from Alta High School is in there getting a little experience himself, a true freshman. Morrill wanted the walk. His protests go unanswered. But Utah throws the ball away, forcing the inside pass. Yeah, I think what happened, he threw it to a man who was coming, was still moving, instead of letting him get his position. And he never did get there because somebody's his thing. Here's the block on our Southwest Airlines replay. Yorson. And just rejected inside by Hano Mentala. Yes, Mentala. I said Althoff, but I think Althoff got a little piece of it. It's interesting that, and we remember this from Colorado State, that there, see the post 5 signal being given by the bench. Maybe they can show that later on. But Stu Morrill used that system for getting his players information, offensive information during the games. Brown, tough look. Now foul underneath as Pharaoh Davis found himself in a lot of traffic. The other thing Stu Morrill did, he takes his team out onto the floor. Yeah, here's it. The ball stays in there. He pulls himself away. Ooh, I don't know if he may take another little bounce or a little step there, but nevertheless, he didn't get the call. He did get fouled. But Stu Morrill, during his timeouts, takes his team out on the floor, away from this very boisterous crowd. And that's the second personal foul on Nate Althoff. Pharaoh Davis at the free throw line. Davis converting on the first. Yeah, Davis is an unusual style. He sort of rushes that free throw, but it is effective. He puts it down the middle. And Rick Randall comes in replacing Tony Brown. Randall's a senior out of Washington, Georgia. So they trade a freshman for a senior at this point. That's some kind of freshman, though. I'm sure we'll see why everyone raves about Tony Brown before this evening's over. Trap at half court, and Miller does a great job getting rid of it. Yeah, this is the third defense that Stu Morrill has used. He's played man-to-man, he's played a straight zone, and now he's in a 1-2-2 zone trap. Very effective, too. His team moves their feet well. They hustle, and that's what you got to do in a zone. Brad Crockett out of Centerville, Vermont High School. Passed the ball to Miller, and now from the corner, shot won't go down that time by Jeremy Jones. Good patience, but they just didn't make the basket. Pretty good shot. You got to take your time and get the good shot, and then you got to make them. Spencer Nelson out of Pocatello, the freshman. But Davis rejected by Althoff. Big time block. And you know, block shots have a mental effect on you after a while, psychological effect.
Timeout taken by the Aggies. It's still the Utes leading 11-9. Aggies finding it's tough inside as Big Nate Althoff says, hey, get that stuff out of here. We'll be out of here for 2, and we'll be back. Utes with a 2-point lead. Frank, now time to take a look on the Larry H. Miller telestrator at the inside game.
Yeah, well, you see, Steve, that the one thing that a signature on all Utah teams is that they spread the floor well, and that's what they do here. But watch what happens. I talked about Jensen. He's being fronted in here. All right, the ball will go to the top to Metlock. Now, he can't get a pass in here because the support defense is pretty good. So what happens? He sets a block, and Metlock takes it down the lane and eventually dunks it. It's the little things that get you easy baskets, and Rick Majerus does a great job of teaching his teams to do that.
Back to action now. The Aggies with the basketball. They trail by just a field goal. Rashad Elliott finds the range. It ties this one at 11.
Well, you know what? Elliott could have taken a longer shot, but he saw that he had a chance to dribble in, get himself a little close to the basket. He put that down very nicely. A lot of poise for the young man.
Utes will reverse the basketball.
Yeah, their recognition this year of the zone is much better than it was at this time last year. I thought that was one of the problems they had. They didn't know when they were playing against the zone.
Cullen's shot hits the side of the backboard, and quickly the Aggies are down floor.
Yeah, not as quickly as they could be, Steve. I think that they're going to get more organized as the year goes on with their running game. They seem to be afraid to...
And Miller is fouled on the break by Rashad Elliott. Miller, nice little move as he tapped the ball over the shorter Elliott, and Elliott made a nice play to stop the break.
That's a veteran play, though, isn't it? I mean, he had the poise to be able to do that, pass them to himself. And by the way, very legal. You could just go right into a dribble from that.
Stu Morrill, you saw a moment ago. I think a great addition to this program, the addition of Stu Morrill.
Oh, yes. Experience.
13 years as a head coach, 7 successful seasons at Colorado State.
And a Utah.
That's right. Absolutely. He understands basketball here in Utah.
Yes. Should help his recruiting locally.
Good 10 on the shot. Cullen's turnaround again. He hits the side of the net. Getting a little too deep on the block there.
Yes.
Ball goes out of bounds, and that's the 6th turnover for Utah. Hey, dying for a Jazz game. Join Hot Rod Hundley next Wednesday at 9 o'clock for the 1992 triple overtime game between the Jazz and the Bulls. It's Jazz Classics, and this is one of the best. Next Wednesday right here on KJazz TV.
That might have been the best.
I think it was. That was the one, of course, that Michael Jordan got tossed with a technical foul.
That was a great basketball game. But you know, you're right there. He made the turn to the baseline and actually gave away some room to shoot for himself.
Roll the lead. And we talked about his leaping ability. 48-inch vertical. You saw some of it there as he leaned in and still was able to get that shot
off. He's in
off.
great control. He's a great athlete.
And the Aggies lead for the first time. 3-point attempt by Miller is good, and just that quickly Utah comes back.
Well, of course, they're dropping that zone into the middle. They're taking away the drives, which have been so effective for the Utes, but they're giving them the outside shot, and you can't give Miller too many. He'll make them.
Roll again. And you see his quickness as he flashes in the lane in that left hand.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Utes are letting him get to the paint that easily. I mean, that shot was virtually uncontested.
Deidre Miller.
Good movement around the perimeter.
Miller would like to take the 3 again. He had the first 3-pointer of the season for us.
Well, he's a momentum shooter.
There he is again, and there is the bottom of the basket again. Yes. You give him that when he's a streak shooter, too. Yeah. He gets in rhythm. He's got that nice soft release. And right across the way from us, I just saw Michael Doliak stand up and applaud. He's in attendance right behind the Ute bench.
Well, you know, I said momentum, you said streak, and that's exactly what he is. He's a combination of both, a streak and momentum player.
Metala clears the glass. End-to-end basketball. Miller will pull it back out. Andre Miller has 11 points, 11 of Utah's 15 points, or 17 points rather.
Well, I think that's what Andre does well, though. He knows when they need points, he knows to go to the basket. When he sees his teammates shooting well, he's able to dish the ball off and spread it around.
Foul inside on the play. This University of Utah basketball game brought to you in part by Smith's as you look at Michael Doliak chewing on that toothpick. Smith's Food and Drug Centers, where you can earn 5% off your groceries with our 5% rewards program. Come into Smith's and check it out.
One of the things I think, Steve, and we didn't talk about it at the end of last year because we couldn't talk about it, is that Andre Miller made a very wise decision coming back and playing his senior year here.
Wow, that's uncharacteristic to see Andre Miller. He's a preseason All-America selection, a John Wooden and a Naismith Player of the Year awards candidate. And, you know, a lot of people forget this is a guy who struggled academically when he came in. Now, you want to talk about success stories. It's not because of his basketball. This is a guy who graduated last year. As you said, Frank, came back, a Prop 48 kid. It's a man who's going to be successful in life, and he's just making right choices all
Yeah,
around.
now he's going to continue to get his degree in basketball, and that's very, very smart on his behalf because the whole world knows who he is this year.
And Andre Miller has 12, and the Aggies know who he is tonight.
And I'll tell you, who does Cullen remind you of as a freshman?
Van Horn. Still got a lot of raw edges, but I'll tell you, they like the way he looks.
He runs the floor well, and, you know, he looks like a young Van Horn.
He runs like Van Horn, too, if you watch him. As you get a look at Alex Jensen, Utah turns the ball over again. If there's a negative right now for Utah's game, it is the turnover situation.
If I was Rick Majerus, I'd just pile all the tapes of Van Horn on Cullen and let him take a look at how he plays, because those bills are so similar, their styles are so similar. And Van Horn was such a wonderful young man, student and everything else.
Johnson's jump hook, but he's fouled by Cullen.
A lot of times I think we should have our heroes and our people we look up to should be up, you know, those are the peers that just went ahead of us.
Stu Morrill takes a seat. Second personal foul on Cullen. Donnie Johnson at the line. His first shot comes off the rim.
Yeah, his style. He rushes the shots. He made a couple before, but I don't know. I think you should spend a little more time aiming the ball with had your hand facing the target a little longer.
Crockett replaces Cullen with the 2 personal fouls.
No sense in rushing a free throw.
Nope. Donnie Johnson.
He did a little better that time, and the results were perfect.
And Frank, he's an 83% free throw shooter,
Yeah.
so it shows you unorthodox can work if you take your time. And we're going to take our time right now. We'll be back with Utah holding a one basket lead. Back, everybody. It's a 2-point Utah lead. Been a good 7 minutes or so here in the first half, Frank.
It's a great game. I think both teams are playing with good intensity. You know, and you look at those shots they missed earlier. Since that time, both teams have played pretty well.
Yeah, it was a little sloppy early, but the last 6 or 7
feeling
minutes.
each other out. Here's another zone trap again. It's interesting to see how the Utes will handle it because they had a lot of trouble in the beginning of last season with zones and traps.
Well, they handled that one quite easily.
Yeah, their recognition wasn't good last year. It looked like they would play for a while, not realizing that teams were zoning them. Good recognition. Of course, Miller has a lot to do with that now.
Monumentala, and there were no Utes suddenly there to rebound that one.
Well, the way the size of Utah State and their jumping ability, I can imagine Stu Morrill having a lot of zones this year.
And a 3-point basket for Utah State. And again, the Aggies lead by 1. Troy Rowe with 9 points. Rebound-wise, Frank, the last time out, the Aggies had 10 and the Utes 13. So the size advantage of Utah not really making its presence felt right now. Well, at least on the boards.
They're flattening the zone out. They're taking away the inside game. If you notice, they haven't gotten the ball inside. They haven't been able to penetrate off the dribble. So they've gone strictly, Utah's gone strictly to shooting outside. So from that, there's another outside shot.
And they were running down the shot clock. Just 7 seconds left when Jensen released that one.
Yeah, and that was, you know, that's a pretty good shot. But you know what? You can't win all the time by shooting the ball outside all the time. You've got to have an inside presence.
Roy, this one won't go. Oh, he can lead.
Of course, this is another thing that can beat his zone. Is running.
And Crockett misses, but there's the putback.
Yeah, you got to, in other words, if you're going to miss and you're going to get back on the zone, you better get back well because you're very vulnerable to a fast break.
And Frank Roll, who missed the shot, was the one who got burned on that because Crockett released as soon as Roll went up there.
Sure. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the way Utah is running the floor, their organization in their rank, than how Utah State is.
And an over and back called on the Aggies, and we get again some substitutions for Utah State. Tony Brown is coming back into the ball game, and for Utah, Jeremy Killian comes in. Andre Miller, Frank, is 5 of 7 from the floor and has 14 points so far tonight.
Yeah, he's making good decisions. I think that's very important. And I think the other, one of the things is that they've got to show good poise and patience. That was one of the keys that we talked about before the game started.
And right now they've committed to 6 turnovers to 4 for the Aggies.
There's no inside game for them at all, so be patient. Look to get it inside. And there's a pretty good jump shot right there from the corner. Doesn't go in, but it's a good shot. It's a good dirty shot. Now I'm surprised Utah State has been running a little bit more here.
Alec swings the ball, and Utah State with some good ball movement. They like to go inside to Johnson. He's rejected by Metala, but I think he's fouled. Hano Metala. First personal foul for Hano Metala, and it's the 16th foul for Utah. Here's the inside, and pretty easy call for the official as Metala right on the arm.
When you get down to about 3 minutes to go in the half, both teams will want to go in with momentum. I think Utah State, knowing they were a 10-point to 12-point underdog, would look to get momentum and make believers out of their players that they can win this ball game. And of course, Utah coming in here with you know, being anywhere from 9th to 12th in the nation, might certainly become doubters about their ability.
Johnson with 1 of 2, and he's 3 of 6.
Here's the trap again. And it's just a delaying trap. It's not a real trying to steal the ball or anything. It's just winning time, and then they drop back very flat, very drawn in.
Crockett flashes across the lane, and now Metala comes high post.
Yeah, see, Metala hasn't gotten that ball inside where he's most effective. And there's a little overload here. Good patience.
10 seconds on the shot clock.
See how they're double teaming.
Oh, nice interior pass.
Yeah, you know, they double team Metala beautifully there, front and back, and that allowed a lane for Jensen to get to, and they made the pass there.
This University of Utah basketball game brought to you by AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And you watch it one more time, Frank, this is that inside lane.
Yeah, and he's got to finish. You know what I mean? That's the kind of shot that you got to make, even though he did get whacked.
And that was the second foul. Let's see the offending player for Utah State. Jensen will go to the line.
Yeah, you got to expect that you're going to make that, turn that into a three-point play, and probably a little bit later on in the season it will be.
Donnie Johnson.
It's funny, I used to be critical of guys who miss layups. Now I'm very critical. You know, I just look and say, hey, you can't give away the opportunities to score like that. Easy baskets.
So a 2-point Utah lead. And collision on the baseline underneath. Foul is going to be called as Tony Brown and Jeremy Killian collided. And Killian will be the guy who gets slapped with a foul.
Yeah, usually the offensive man gets some leeway. I didn't see it completely there. But usually you can't impede the progress of an offensive player, especially if he doesn't have the basketball.
Tony Brown, the freshman, goes to the line. He's scoreless.
Nice build for a freshman. Strong, upper body.
Numbers against Simon Frazier. Nice first game. He's a Division I college basketball player. And he hits the first free throw.
And he lives about a three-point shot away from here, right?
Absolutely. Young man from Hiram Mountain Crest High School. And you saw on the free throws the kind of touch he has.
Yes.
His shooters.
Good mechanics.
Yeah, he does. And good mechanics usually breed good shooters.
Yes.
Tie ball game again at 22.
See what I mean, Steve? They're not trying to trap. They're just showing the press. They could be more aggressive in that, but it's causing the Utes to slow down and to lose some seconds on the clock.
And it breaks rhythm.
Sure it does. And later on, maybe you up the intensity level a little bit.
Kind of like a boxer, you tap, 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 and you withstand it, and all of a sudden the guy brings the real punch.
That's right.
3 on the shot. Killian's shot won't go, but he had to do it. Now there's a foul on the rebound over the back.
I'm impressed with the Utah State's rebounding ability. Good leapers. These are the best athletes I've seen them have in a long time, Steve.
And Hano Metala picks up his 3rd foul on this play. Watch, correction, his 2nd. Watch this one over the back. Second personal foul on Hano.
Yeah, and the refs are letting them play. I don't see any complaints in the you know, it's the refereeing has not only been fair, but they've let the two teams play each other, and that's the way you should let rivals do, I believe.
Tyson Johnston is set to check in, a 6'10 freshman center. He'll be replacing Hano Metala. He's out of Steamboat Springs, Steamboat, Colorado, and here he comes. They should be right at home with the snow that we caught through Sardine Canyon tonight, although it cleared right up.
I noticed that myself. I thought I was back in Niagara Falls, which is a compliment.
Now at the line is Birch, Brandon Birch.
6'7" from North Logan, another local guy. Got a nice build on him also. Both these teams have a lot of good-looking athletes. There's no overload here. They're just spreading the floor out. There goes Miller trying to.
He's wanted to walk. There'll be a foul on Utah State instead.
Yeah, and I think you got to do that. I think you got to take the ball to a zone sometimes. I think you got to split the seams. I don't think you can just, and you'll see him right here, all right? Going right down the chute there, and I don't know why teams don't do that more often, to take it against a zone. You know,
especially against a two-man front.
That's right, because, you know, a little head fake with the ball, and since the middle is wide open, they don't have a true postman who's taking that lane away from them. Miller made good judgment there, and he picked up a foul, got himself on the foul line, and a chance to put his team ahead, which he didn't take advantage of.
Inside pass to Birch. As it knocked out of bounds, and the Aggies will retain possession.
Yeah, actually, the Aggies have been more successful getting the ball inside than the Utes have in this ball game so far in this half.
So timeout is taken. 3:42 left in the half, and we're all tied at 23. All tied at 23 with 3:42 left in the first half. We told you in the pregame show about the polls. Let's take a look at the preseason poll, Giant Carpet 1 AP poll. And there you see Utah, number 9 in the country. Number 1 is Duke, and Kentucky hasn't played, but they're defending national champions. So well, but you don't like that, do you?
I don't like the polls. You know, people that don't see the teams play and make these decisions. It puts too much pressure on the kids and on the coaches, and the expectation's too high. Now, there's no way that you can look at this Utah team without a returning 7-foot center or something and say that they should be 9th in the country. It's not fair to Rick Gore's players.
And I'll tell you, for years I voted on the AP poll, and I can tell you there's a lot of blind votes.
Of course.
I made an awful lot myself. They ask you for that thing every week, and you do it the best you can, but you don't get to see a lot of them play.
No, and it really isn't fair. And the coaches, I know what they do. The coaches,
yeah, they load it up against their opponents.
That's exactly right. Or they pass it on to one of the assistant coaches. There goes Jensen to the basket.
Out of bounds off Utah.
Pretty good look, though.
Program note for you: what makes Frasier one of the most award-winning comedies on television? We'll tune in every weeknight at 6:30 and again at 10:30 to find out. There's only one Frasier, and he's on 5 nights a week, right here on KJS.
Rick has told his team to become more aggressive with the basketball against the zone and to try to penetrate, because there again, we see Jensen penetrate, gets the man open, and whether the pass was too hard, uncatchable or not, I don't know, but there was somebody free.
Stu Morrill telling his team what he'd like to see after, with 3:25 remaining after Brown goes to the line.
This is, you know, there's minutes in the game. I think the first 2 minutes of the game and the last 2 or 3 minutes of the half are certainly the most important minutes of the first half. The first 2 minutes of the second half and the last 4 minutes of the game. Now we're getting into that crucial area. Which team will have the momentum walking off the floor?
Tony Brown is 4 for 4. Overall, his points have all come from the line. And now here comes the pressure. And that's what Morrill was talking to his team about.
And they've extended a little bit. Now it's about the three-quarter court.
Made free throw, apply the pressure. They do. And again, they disrupt the offensive flow and the momentum.
And they get the clock down to about 22 seconds before they're able to even look at taking a shot.
And Morrill likes what he sees. He's up off the bench right now. Ball tipped away.
And it's not an overload. It's a balanced attack.
And now a silly foul by Alec. And there was no change of possession there, so the clock continued to roll, and it was down around 10 seconds.
Yes, and Alec just said, you know, he might be a little tired now, too, you know.
He was the point guy on the press, and it was extended full court.
It sure was. And that's a two-way street, you know. The only thing is when you're winning, you don't get as tired. Fatigue is very mental.
Killian to Miller. After the foul, a new shot clock, and Andre launches a three. The first miss for him from three-point range. And Jensen bounds the ball off Alec, a la Karl Malone. And Utah retains possession.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I'm sure that Stu Morrow is very happy to let those kind of shots go up. I think if he can keep Utah in a perimeter game, he'd be very happy to do that.
Jensen tried for the little tip and then committed the foul after he missed. He's talking to the referee right now. But right now, Milt Stowe says, now you got him. You were on the back.
Great execution on that play. Very similar to what we saw a couple of years ago when Van Horn won the game down in the WAC tournament.
Boy, do we remember that one.
Yes.
This time it didn't go down. It goes down as a second personal foul for Jensen.
Yeah, instead of getting a basket, you end up with an untimely foul.
And Alec at the free throw line hits the first attempt for him tonight. Here's a look at it again as Jensen breaks right there. Nice little back pick.
Yes.
But he just was screened out and then came down over the back of Alec.
Yeah, and that Majerus takes Jensen out now and works on the referee a little bit.
Now he's got two personal fouls. No sense picking up a third one with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. As Alec hits the second and gives the Aggies their biggest lead at 27-23.
I like Alec. He does a pretty good job of acting out here, showing that he wants to be aggressive and then backing off very quickly. I like this zone press. I think Morrow's done a good job with it.
This will swing the ball to Sharp.
Not trying to steal the ball, they're just trying to contain the Utes and keep them as a perimeter team. Now there it goes inside, and that's what you have to do.
And a foul behind from Birch as he tried to slap the ball away.
Yeah, I think that Rick Majerus certainly during the timeouts is emphasizing to be patient. If the penetration is there, the chance to split the zone, go ahead and do it. Good ball movement around the outside, but try to get it inside, and it paid off right then.
Dimitri Jorgensen will come in for Brandon Birch. Young man that played at Skyview High School just up the road. Nate Althoff going to the line. First time tonight. And he converts. Nate Althoff, the young man out of Minnesota who had the surgery just a few weeks ago, and you'll get a look at that right finger, or that right pinky finger on his shooting hand. I'm just amazed that he came back and came back as well as he did the other night. Althoff, as he converts both free throws, had 10 points and 7 rebounds. And tonight he has his first 2 points from the line. 2-point Utah State lead as we approach the 2-minute mark left here in the first half. Inside, blocked away. Todd Timber in there.
Yeah, the first block act as an intimidated, gave him a chance to fast break here.
3-point shot. Killian up on top of the basket, but that was a great block underneath by Tyson Johnston, just a freshman.
Yeah, and that first block and the second one, the player didn't want to go up with it, so he sort of, you know, just put it up there very soft. And that'll happen. You get intimidated. That's got to be about the 4th block tonight for the Utes, I would believe. And the fast break was real good. I thought Andre took it too far in. He should have held up, either made a pass from just inside the foul line or shot it himself.
The Aggies take that 20-second timeout. 3-point shooting. Utah is 2 of 11, 18%, and Utah State just 1 of 4. Here's a look at the block a moment ago by Tyson Johnston.
Yeah. All right, now what you're going to see is him go up and gets the block. But see how what happens is now they go up again. All right, good second effort. And, of course, you're going to see the ball go off to the left. And that is what happens. After you get that first one blocked, you're always a little bit hesitant about the second one. In fact, that's one instance, Steve, when you're probably better off bringing it back out. After a block shot, get yourself settled down.
And during that 22nd timeout, I think you saw Rick Majerus upset at Jeremy Killian, and you mentioned it earlier that shot had better go down.
Yeah.
Rick Majerus would
Rick
Majerus
is like all coaches, all right? You don't mind the guy shooting the ball outside. They better go down. If they don't, forget it.
And none of his have gone down. The 2 out of the 11 that Utah has made both came from Andre Miller.
Yeah, now Utah State's taking the air out of the ball a little bit. They're going to be very patient. They're going to be very happy to go in with either a 2-point lead or, you know, at least being very, very close.
Looked like they're playing a man-to-man up top in the zone underneath, Frank.
Yes.
Because Johnson did not go with his man when they rotated across the other side of the court. But the guards were playing man.
That was a pretty good shot, but I'm surprised he didn't follow it. He would have got it right back again.
Adam Sharp was on that Alta State Championship team, a freshman, and now he hands off to Andre Miller.
Yeah, he's a very heavy ball player, but good control. There they go inside, and that's what you've got to do.
And Althoff with that height advantage, and it's a 5 or 6 inch height advantage there.
Yeah, and they're playing, even though they're in a zone, when you post up, they got to play you man-to-man, and they've chosen to play behind Althoff, and as a result, they're able to tie the score up as we get down to the last 35 seconds.
And there is about a 16-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock.
Yeah, you want to make sure now that you get a very good shot and or get fouled. Then you don't want to give enough time back. Of course, they didn't do that.
Althoff with a rebound.
Yep.
Now Utah with 15 seconds left, or about an 11-second difference.
Yeah, and you know, if Utah scores now, Steve, they go in with the momentum. Right? They're going to clear out the side because Utah State is in a man-to-man. Good switch there. Good switch there.
Althoff got to get the shot up, doesn't. And I don't think the shot came off, but there's a foul right at the horn. And now the officials will confer whether it was prior to the horn or after. And it's going to be. And it's going to put Johnston at the line.
And infuriate the home crowd.
Yeah, well, it'll give Stu Morrill something to talk about as he goes in.
He's asking the clock whether a foul occurred, and
Pharaoh Davis.
The half is over, except for these free throws. 0-0-0 on the clock.
Pharaoh Davis was the man who got called with a foul. Utah State did not score in the last 2 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll watch this one again with the clock. Let's see where the foul occurs. And, yep. No, well, I'll tell you, that's close.
It was close,
but
I think it was a foul.
Anyway, it's moot because Johnson hits both of them, and at the half, the Utes will take the halftime lead into the locker room, and again, it will be fodder for Stu Morrill, and this man has certainly enough fodder. 28-27, Utes will be back.